Hello and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 arc creatures that I don't really care about. But just before we get into it, make sure to like and subscribe as it really does help the channel. In at number 5 is the Pleura. Now, if I was a PvP arc player, I would probably think very differently about this. But I am mainly a PvE arc player and I don't really enter the PvP arc space. So for me, the Pleura is a pretty useless creature that I really do not care about using. But if you are a PvP player, then you might as well tame one of these things as they are insanely useful. And I can definitely see where their uses come from, it's just they're not very useful for me. In a PvP scenario, the Pleura is great as it is very flat and quite small, so it is easy to keep hidden and it can destroy any kind of structure at all, that being tech, metal, stone, wood, thatch, you name it, this thing can destroy it, which is really great because it is so much better to bring a big hunking beast of a creature to someone's base to simply get into it. With an Pleura, it is just a lot more hidden. In at number 4 is the Achatina. Now yes, again, I can definitely see a use for this creature, but personally for me, I do not need this for any form of organic polymer or for a source of that Achatina paste which acts as cementing paste. For me personally, I will always get my cementing paste from a beaver dam or simply craft it myself, as if you're making paste with all these snails, it just takes up way too much space for me, and for organic polymer I always go to creatures like the mantis. In at number 3 is the angler. Now the only time I really gave this creature any thought is when watching Squid's last arc video in the kind of old arc series that he did, where he tamed himself an angler. And apart from that, I pretty much give these things no thought at all, and I never really use them. For an early water tame, I would tame myself something like a Barry or a Carbenemys, and if I was going into the water, an Ichthyosaurus is going to do a much better job as they are faster and a lot easier to tame than the angler. And once you do get to the stage of when you're taming yourself an angler, as when you are able to get to those deep portions of the ocean, you might as well just tame yourself a Basilosaurus instead. That creature is going to be far better for water exploration, and it will definitely pack more of a punch when coming into the damage front. But in terms of the anglerfish's one use, if you kill one of these things, angler gel is extremely useful for a couple of arc craftables. In at number 2 is the archeopteryx. Now this thing only has one use and is tamed with chitin. Yes, chitin. This creature actually did have a really neat use, obviously, until Arboration came out and the glide suit was invented by the Arc developers. This thing essentially is a glide suit, but with a bit more faffing around. It takes longer to get one, it spawns in the redwoods, which is an absolute pain. You can easily get it mixed up with microraptors, which is something you do not want to do. And you can't wield any kind of weapon when you're holding this thing, and when you're traveling from A to B on the ground, you are just going to be so much slower than if you're not carrying this thing. Obviously it did have a use, as no such thing existed until the glide suit came out, but now it's useless. In at number 1 is the iranio. This creature has literally no use in arc at all. Its health is rubbish, it has an absolutely terrible stamina stat, and its melee damage is nothing to be excited about. It has 2 attacks, its bite and its web ability, but to be honest, its web ability really isn't that great overall, as creatures can still easily get away. With the Managama's freeze ability, it's much more useful as the creature is completely stuck in place. However, if the iranio did ever get a TLC in future, this actually might be a very viable creature if it could do things like the Bloodstalker and like grapple around or maybe climb up walls and vertical surfaces. But for now, it's not useful. But anyway, that is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed. And what 5 creatures do you really not care about in Ark at all? But with that, I will see you all later. Bye.